Hello, I'm Christina. So here we want to use our graphing utility to approximate the points of intersection, but first we need to manipulate our equations so that they're in a format we can easily input them. So I want to take each of these equations and solve for y. Here I can subtract x from both sides. Divide both sides by -1 and take the square root of both sides, giving me plus a positive and a negative, x plus 1. Now I want to do the same for the second equation. It's a little simpler. I go ahead and isolate that y. Perfect. Now they're in a format I can easily input them into my utility. So I will go ahead and input all of them. Now I do need to do this one as two separate pieces. I will put in my y sub 1 as the positive version of this, my y sub 2 as x minus 5, and my y sub 3 as the negative version. I can go ahead and press graph, and I will see that there are two different points of intersection where this, the graph of this piece is intersecting with the graph of this piece. Now I can use my utility and use the calc feature. I'm going to click second trace to find my calc feature, and I should see an option that says intersect. The utility will prompt me to just identify my first curve and my second. So I will trace the cursor along both pieces right near the intersection I'm looking for, press enter, and my utility will give me back the intersections. The first point it gives me is 0.83. I want to follow those steps. Again, I'm using the calc feature on my utility. I press second trace, pop down to intersect, and this time I am going to slide my cursor to points near that bottom intersection. And it gives me another 0.3, -2. Perfect. Finally, we're asked to verify our results by plugging in these points into our original function. So let's start with the first one. If I plug that in, the 8 and the 3, I would wind up with 8 minus 3 squared, which is 9, equals -1. And that checks out. On the bottom piece, I would wind up with 8 minus 3 equals 5. That also checks out. Great. Let's check our second intersection. I would have 3 minus -2 squared, which is a positive 4, which does result in -1. Great. That checks out. And finally, 3 minus -2 does result in 5. Great. That's how we complete this problem.